What's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
Raegan is a little late there.
It's okay. It's okay. He needed a minute.
I needed a minute.
And
I didn't get the memo fast enough.
welcome, everybody, to episode 1 of our brand new podcast, Calm After the Storm.
After the storm. I'm so excited. So welcome, guys. Before we start, we have so much to talk about today. We're gonna do like little introductions, even though you guys I think most of you know who we are. So I'll let Kalvin go first because whatever. I'll let him go first.
Okay, so wait, I'm gonna go first?
Should I go first?
Yeah, you go first, because
I'll go first.
So I know you, Cherliz, by the way, everyone, she's gonna be our she structures our topics. So we're gonna have her go first because then we have an idea of what to say.
Right.
Okay, so I'm Cherliz, Cherliz Cohen, but everyone knows me as Cher. I'm a psych major, currently in college, but beforehand I was an influencer. Yeah, shocking. I did a lot of makeup stuff. You know, you guys probably saw me with your fave mans off Musically, but here I am today in this podcast with two of my closest friends ever, Kalvin.
Okay, so what's up, everybody? You may know me from youtube.com /Kalvin Guerra, where I made some pretty controversial content. I was canceled many times. There are quite a lot of hour-long expose videos about me out there. You may have seen them. But yeah, I guess I was known for making reaction content, opinionated videos, just kind of about LGBT discourse. And now that I'm not really doing social media anymore, maybe we'll tell the story one day, but the FBI came to my house. That was a shit show and a lot of shit happened. But yeah, I'm in college as well. I'm also a psychology major. Me and Cherliz. I just switched to psychology, so that's pretty exciting. I'm pre-law at the moment. But you know, I'm kind of weighing whether I want to do grad school or law school. And that's pretty much it. I go to school and Raegan, your turn.
Hi, my name's Raegan Beast. I guess I was known for Musically and singing.
Yes.
and
user.
And that's right. Now verified TikToker.
Me too.
Not me.
Oh, so sad.
Share. But now, you know, I just live my life with my girlfriend and our many animals, 10 plus. And I'm getting into dog training. I'm not going to school for it currently, but I am looking into school for it. So.
Ooh.
So cool, guys. Kind of taking all this in. We're the coolest people ever. I feel we're so different. We all did such different things coming out of social media, even though some of us kind of dabble in it. We're all just really cool people. Not to boost our ego or anything, but yeah,
we've all had literally crazy things happen in our lives.
Yeah, I feel we kind of popped off.
Yeah, I mean, for young adults, come on, memories were made.
That's what I'm saying. I cannot imagine life if I didn't grow up with you guys and the people I knew growing up.
Yeah,
I think if I was not on social media and I grew up with the people from where I live, I think I would have been a wreck. I think it changed me, but for the good and for the bad in a way.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. Huh.
Yeah, definitely went through my ups and downs of social media.
I think being a social media influencer was honestly the worst decision of my entire life. So
Really? I honestly feel it was a great decision for me just based off of being young and all my dreams and things that I wanted to do. I achieved that and I did things that I definitely will fucking show my kids and you know.
For me personally, okay, this is the thing for me though, is more being canceled so hard over LGBT discourse when what I want to do is go into into a career and working as a counselor or working with as a lawyer. I really like to do political. I mean, literally yesterday I just testified against this House Bill 758 HB 757 in Maryland, and we got it just because of the testimony. Me and a couple other people, we got an unfavorable report for it. It was supposed to stop trans athletes, like K through 12 kids, from playing on the teams of the gender they identify as here in Maryland. So
Oh,
yeah, I really like to do that kind of stuff, and so it just kind of sucked to have that. Like, people are gonna obviously think I'm like
yeah,
super
that
trans.
cloud of
Mhm.
people that think just based off of something that they watched, you know.
Right, and it's people who like are just like chronically online who there's validity to all of it. We'll talk about it more later, but I mean, yeah, it's more of like a it's kind of
It
like
definitely
a
affects your life, like being on social media and having your image and
100%.
your face out 100% on the internet for people to judge you and talk about you. It's kind of really wild when you think about it.
yes, it definitely is.
I feel like
And
there's
that,
like very valid like reasons why people get canceled, of course, but I think there's also a lot of like invalid reasons like that don't kind of make sense to me. Like there's people that get canceled for like promoting like a skincare company and they're like, wow, like you're promoting something for youthful skin, like that's fuck. Like I think some things like there's many things
right,
that are like obviously cancel the person, like I'm with you. But I feel like like nowadays it's just so different than it was when music was a thing. Like it's so
right.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very hard being like up in social media when you have all these like younger people who follow you.
Yeah.
If you do get canceled for something that you know deep down in your heart you didn't come off that way or you didn't do something like that, it really doesn't matter because it's like the
Yeah.
whole majority of people think that you did. And so you can get canceled for
Yeah.
something sometimes you don't even really do or you're not associated with. And that's like, it sucks.
I have like an example I want to talk about, but like maybe a little bit later on when we kind of go into like social media and cancel culture.
In the
But before we go
storm.
into the storm, but before we go into that, I kind of like I thought it would be like cute and smart to talk about how it came about. Like
Yeah.
me and Reagan were kind of like the lead of this whole idea.
Yes. Let me
Yeah.
make
So I
it
called
very
Reagan.
clear. I was not the one that started this. I was these two hooligans.
So
We were just talking and it was like, we should start a podcast.
literally, no, me and Reagan, like it's weird. Me and Reagan don't talk as much as Calvin and I do, but like me and Reagan will FaceTime once in a blue moon. It's really weird, really random, but it happens. And I called Reagan and I was like, Calvin needs to get his shit together. Like we should start a podcast, all three of us. We called Calvin in a group call. He was terrified. And we decided
Yeah,
to come up
because
with
y'all
this.
told me you were gonna have like an intervention.
Well, yeah,
But
because we
like
wanted you to come on the internet and apologize for everything you've done. And he said,
I've
he gave
he was
that
like,
apologized.
exact thing. He's like,
but then
maybe I'll think about
But
it.
listen, while it was me and Reagan's idea, Calvin literally came up with the name and we all fell in love.
It
Like
was
we
like
think the name
it was an instantaneous. We were like, what could the name be? And we're all sitting here kind of. I said, calm after the storm. And everyone loved it. We all really resonated with that name.
it just like it connected
It,
with us. Like
it
I can't
I can't even
oh.
explain. I have no idea. It's just it really resonated and connected with all three
On a
of
deep
us
level.
on a very deep level.
Like I feel like there's 2 or 3 meanings behind the name some
Mhm.
people could catch on to. But I think the main
I feel like there's various meanings behind the
there's
name.
various, but the
And
main
everyone
one
can find their own.
exactly. But I feel like the main one is like social media being the storm. Like we're
Mhm.
currently at like the calm part where like we're all kind of still doing social media, but not like we used to. So it's kind of like the calm and like, you know what I mean?
Because it's like
But again, there's multiple meanings.
being a teenager who has like a social media following and involved in the social media world is like very chaotic. You have a lot of chaotic experiences. You meet chaotic people. Things happen and crazy things happen in your life that it does not happen in the average person. So it's crazy to go from that like chaoticness and everything that comes with it to like just wanting to live a medial life. And maybe that's not the
Yeah.
right word. Just kind of a more calm, normal life. And I
Yeah.
think that there's something really interesting and valuable, I guess, about the experience because something a lot of people I feel like who aren't involved in like the internet or influencers they take for granted is just privacy. It's having a private life where no one actually
Yeah.
gives a fuck what you do. Nobody gives a fuck about your day-to-day life. No one gives a fuck who you're dating, who you're friends with, what you think. And there's a certain benefit to that. And I think a lot of people want fame. And while it's nice in a lot of ways, there's also like I I guess in looking back at it, like 21 now, I kind of wish, I wish that I had just been a private person.
Yeah, I think it really depends on who you are, and I think that's what a lot of celebrities talk about. Is they're like,
Mhm.
well, as it looks like so amazing, it's not what it seems because the privacy and like literally just like when I went to the mall the other day. I don't get noticed much often as I used to, but I got noticed, and when I got noticed afterwards, I found myself like straightening my shirt and fixing my hair and looking around because I think everyone's looking at because it's like you feel like everyone's got their eyes on you and it
I
almost makes you paranoid. It makes you act differently. It
And
makes you feel
people
differently.
another thing that happens to you when you start to get recognized out in public a lot is you get like people that are around you don't understand and they actually think you're being paranoid, but you will be like, you actually can just tell when someone knows who you are. It's the look in their
Yeah.
eyes. And people, I'll be with someone and they'll be like, that person knows who I am. And they'll be like, no, they don't. Like, what do you mean? And then 2 minutes later, that person will come up and it's like they knew. And I
Yeah.
was right. It's very, very uncomfortable for me
Yeah.
now. Maybe not everybody. This is also everything that I say is my opinion. They might have a different
Right.
view of it.
Right.
But it's something that I hate. Like, I mean, if you recognize me in public, yes, come up to me. Ask me for a picture if you'd like. I'm obviously cool with that. But yeah, there's a certain like you can't just like go out in public like looking crazy and like shit if you know that more often than not someone it will recognize you.
Right.
I think boundaries is like a really big thing because I obviously never got the level that like Raegan was at on Musically or like you with YouTube, but I still got recognized. And like me, I'm very big. I don't mind taking pictures with people, but where I crossed the line and where I started kind of like regretting, I guess, social media was when girls started showing up to my house.
Ooh.
And yeah, there was a time where I actually like Tyler was at my house. 5 girls showed up to my door and my mom called me and she was like, "Where are you? Like, there's nice Jewish girls here to meet you." And I was like, and my mom literally, and because we're Jewish, by the way, I'm Jewish. But like the way my mom
Shabbat
sees it is like, oh, like they're
shalom.
Shabbat shalom. But the way my mom sees it is like, you know what, they're Jewish, just do them a favor, take a picture. But what she doesn't realize is like, if I took photos with them, then everyone's gonna think it's okay to come to my
And they
house
know where you
and take photos.
live
Yeah,
and
and like I asked the girls, I was like, "How do you know where I live?" Because it's not public knowledge. She was like, "I recognized your door in one of your Instagram pictures, and I found it that way." Yeah,
Blair
Jeez.
White
yeah,
used to tell me a lot about people showing up to her house and like driving past her apartment complex and like tranny or like Blair
so
White
weird.
lives here. Yeah.
Um, it's crazy because when I was big on social media, I lived with Kristen and Nathan and everyone who was also big on social media. And what's funny is like as many people that we did like who knew us that were out here, we didn't have anybody come to our place, and our place was very public on the internet. Our whole address was out there. The only real time like that started happening was when I did move in with Nathan, and Nathan was big on TikTok, and these kids that lived in the same complex as us, they knew Nathan, and they'd come by our door every day and look in our windows, and like it was so weird.
You see, like I don't like. It's one thing, like people want to meet the person they look up to, and I get that. But don't show up to their like. That's like the one place that they have to themselves, is their home. I feel like and show up is so fucked up. Like I remember there was the whole thing where like people were showing up to Charlie D'Amelio's house, and like when she was still like not as big as she is now, but she was terrified.
Yeah.
Hey,
Like
Yeah.
that's terrifying, especially like she was so young, and she still is so young. But like that's like a scary thing for someone like me. The thing with me is I was exposed to social media through my friends before I started it, whereas she started social media. None of her friends were influencers, and she had people coming to her house. Like she didn't know like how to react to that. Whereas me, like I thought it was obviously very weird, but I was friends with this person and this person. So it was like normal in a sense to where like I get it, but like I also don't.
Megan, you remember when that fan came to my house and we were trying to get her to go home and like we you remember she was there till like 2 in the
my
morning?
God, wasn't that yeah, we
Don't say any names.
that was I won't, but yeah, I was about to say, oh my gosh.
Ew.
That was
I never knew
really
about this.
crazy. It was really crazy because like we thought that this person was super cool,
Yeah.
but they ended up just like lying to me and Calvin about not going home, and we realized because like we like made them call their parents or something. We're like call them on the phone right now,
Because she was
and they were
like,
like oh, and then they called and they're like so are you coming to get me? And the grandma's
What?
like oh, like,
Yeah.
are you ready? And she's like, yeah, I've been ready. Like the grandma's like, you never
There's
told
no
me.
way.
Yes,
And so
yeah.
she
Oh
never
my
like
god.
tried to go home. She was like trying to spend the night or something. It was so weird.
That's so weird. I want this is kind of off on topic. I'm not gonna say any names, but when I was just in LA, there was like a new content house that was created with like an ex Disney star and a few other influencers who like were like a decently sized amount, I guess, whatever. And one of them that I was really good friends with invited me. And I guess him and a few other people invited these three girls over because I guess these girls were like providing alcohol and like other substances. And the girls refused to leave. Like, they brought it,
Oh,
said hi,
dear.
goodbye, took pictures, but they refused to leave. And, like, I ended up leaving because like, I was gonna hang out with my friend, and he was like, "I'm so sorry, like, I did not think they would be staying here for this long if they refused to leave, and, like, now they're too drunk to go home, and I don't feel comfortable letting them drive,"
Goodness.
which is, like, good for him for not letting them drive, but
Right.
it's like they would
Facts.
not leave. Yeah.
That is
Like, it
crazy
was
though.
yeah. I feel like I would be scared. Like, if someone didn't wanna leave my house, I don't know.
We do have me and Calvin have some crazy,
Yeah, we
definitely
really
some
do have
crazy stories with
crazy
like some
stories.
supporters, man.
Yeah, we because when we were famous on Musically for that period of time, especially you, back at home, it was very like I don't know, very known, especially in town. And
Yeah.
I mean, at the mall, we would go to the mall and people were just following, especially like Raegan, like just following you around. I mean, at Arctic Lights, people trying to like kiss us and
Oh
stuff.
my
And like
god.
it was, yeah, there was like so much.
I've had times where like supporters have tried to like cut off my hair or like pull down my
What?
pants, like all this
What?
crazy stuff.
That,
Yeah.
like, cannot be legal. Like, that's not legal.
Like at
Like,
social, I think it was SocialCon in Portland. It was like one of like my first biggest events. I had a girl that
God.
tried to just come up and snip a piece of my hair off with scissors. The only reason I knew is because she came up and grabbed my hair and I turned around and she had scissors in her hand.
See,
And
but
she's
the
like, "Can
thing
I
is,
get a
Reagan,
little
you're
snip?"
so nice. You're so nice, Reagan. Like, how did you react to that? I feel like you would not have been like, "Fuck you." Like,
I think
you're
I
so
pretty much
nice.
was just like, "Oh my god, no, like I'm so scared, my hair." Like
Like that would be,
Yeah.
she was trying to cut off a lock of your Bieber hair. Like,
And that's what I was about to say. Like, the Bieber stuff that used to happen, like, all over eBay. She
that
was
was
trying to
like
pull a
kind of my
Bieber.
yeah, that was kind of it's crazy because like I think like I don't know, I didn't really get big on social media for looking like Justin Bieber and people think that I did.
Wait, could we like kind of talk about how we all kind of got started on social media? Because I feel like I know how Calvin kind of did, but I have no idea how you did, Reagan.
Yeah, you want to go through first
Okay, yeah. So
and
should
then
I go
Calvin then me?
first?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Why am I always first? Ugh, ladies first. What can I say?
Ladies first.
Okay, so yeah, so I feel like my story is the most different out of the two of them, just because like I didn't start off really with like social media influencer. I started with the business aspect of it. So when I was like in high school, I only lasted a month in like regular high school. I did not last more than that. I switched to online school, but I used to like pocket the lunch money my dad gave me, and I started my own magazine. Uh, that's how I started. I don't know if you knew that, Reagan or Calvin,
No, I
but
did not know that. But that is
so
like insane.
yeah. So I pocketed the $20 a day. Either I would eat like McDonald's or I just wouldn't eat. And I pocketed it until I could afford to fly out Wes Tucker and his team for the first issue. And it ended up being so freaking successful. Like, cause no, that was like when Musically was a thing, and no magazines, no media companies were taking influencers seriously. Like now you see Charlie on the cover of
Right,
Vogue,
yeah.
but back
Right.
then it wasn't a thing.
yeah.
So it took off. And then Wes's manager at the time wanted me to do some people from his team. I did Bryce Hall. I did the why, like one of the Why Don't We boys. I did 5 Quad when that was a thing. Like it
So
ended
Liz
up
was
being
a
really,
girl boss before
I
girl
was a girl
boss
boss.
was a thing.
Exactly. So I did the magazine, and what ended up happening was like, and this is what how me and Calvin met as well. A lot of these tours were taking advantage of little boys and little girls. Like, I'll keep on all these influencers at the time, like Reagan, you were like what, 16, 17?
Like 15 when I first got
Reagan
into
was
social
taken
media.
advantage of by tons
Yeah.
of
So
managers.
That's
yeah, so
very
all these
true.
managers were either out to get these influencers, were out to get money. That's how it was. So I was like, you know what? Let me try hosting a tour. Like, let me 14-year-old me. I was like, let me do a tour. So we did like 3 or 4 stops, but the Boston one was the most successful. That's where I met Calvin,
Yeah.
because someone convinced me to invite Calvin onto the show, and it was Thank God, I love Kalvin. But we had Bryce Hall on that show, Danielle Cohn. We had like the most insane, most diverse lineup ever, and it sold out 500 tickets, meet and greets, everything.
Wow.
And I kind of got started from like the tour magazine thing from between like 14 to 16. And a lot of managers tried taking advantage of me and the company, tried stealing the company, tried suing the company. Nothing stuck. But they were just mad that like the way that my tour worked was no one got paid. The way it worked was, let's say if like this person wanted to go to the studio, I would send him money for his studio session. If this person wanted a flight, I would book the flight for them. It was kind of like family. They wanted to eat something, they got whatever they wanted to eat. Like it was everyone was comfortable with asking me money and it just worked very well. But it kind of came to an end because a few influencers kind of took advantage of that and like would nonstop drink, would show up to the shows
That's
drunk, and
true.
like it was just not like I just couldn't do it because I was so young. But after that, I kind of started doing makeup videos and I got millions of views on that and I got really big. Until this day, I get PR and it's like a really cool experience. But I would say like fashion makeup is kind of what I do now with like a sprinkle of like trauma TikToks, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wow, yeah,
But
I
that's
didn't
how
know
I met
any of that.
Calvin.
So that's like really
Yeah.
cool, actually.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Calvin, you want to go?
So sorry, I was also like checking my phone. So, um, yeah, I guess how did I get started? I mean, I guess I always made YouTube videos, right? Like I made like gaming videos when I was in middle school. They had like 100 views per video. Like I had like 1,000 subscribers, and I always made friends to the internet and stuff. But when I really started to gain followers is when I started posting trans content on Instagram and like on Musically. And then I met Raegan through, I don't know, Musically probably, but it was mostly that we lived in the same.
We linked on Instagram, if you can remember,
Yeah,
through
we DM'd
DM.
on Instagram.
I saw the county you posted, and I was like, "Oh my god, do you live in this county?" And you were like, "Yeah."
Yeah, so we found out we lived so close to each other, and the truth is, I mean, I didn't. It wasn't even that he was so much that he was an influencer. It was so much that like I didn't have any trans friends. I had one, my ex best friend Jack, and we can talk about him. Whatever. We're not going to talk about someone else who should not be named, but Jack we can talk about. No, I have nothing bad to say about Jack. Honestly,
Yeah.
I really do value our friendship. He was my first trans friend ever. And anyways, we met Raegan. We all started hanging out all the time, making musicallys and YouTube videos together, and we just
Aw.
became best friends. And so Raegan, you started to date Justin and kind of blew up more. And I think like everybody else kind of in our friend group started to blow up too a little bit. And I guess at a certain point I branched off when I started to make YouTube videos because I was really more into making the YouTube videos. I've always been very like, even though I would make silly musically and stuff, I've always been very opinionated, very much like I want to speak my mind on something, I'm gonna speak my mind on it. Um,
Right.
and so I started making YouTube videos, and I had a couple videos go really, really viral, separate from anything I had been doing before. Um, and I kind of built my own, like I kind of built a new brand, I guess, from that of being Calvin Guerra, not Kale Blaze from Musically. And yeah, I kind of, got hundreds, couple 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and was making videos for a couple years there. And I don't know, I guess looking back at it, some of it was cringe content. And now I guess I'm kind of at the point where like I really like to talk about like my academic interests and stuff, like political activism, doing stuff. I feel like I'm very
Right.
different than I was back then, but
Yeah.
kind of the still the same in a way where like I'm just more older. I'm older now. I'm more educated, and I still am very opinionated. So that's
Aw.
that.
Opinionated Calvin. Yeah, like you kind of got into like the middle of like when when we blew up on Musically, I guess. But how I
Mhm.
originally got on social media was on You Now, which everyone knows me from.
Wow, you
You
So
know, you just
know,
unlocked the
days.
memory.
when people see me on
Wow.
TikTok to this day, they're like, "Didn't you used to be on You Now?" And I'm like, "Oh my
Wow.
gosh."
That was like the first Musically, I feel like so many people got like discovered on there.
Yeah, it
Wow.
really was like
Yeah.
this live streaming app that a lot of YouTubers were on, like
Yeah.
Shane Dawson and Dan and
Tana
Matthew Lush
Mojo.
and Tana
Yeah.
Mojo. Just a lot of people were on there, and I used to watch them all the time. And so that's why I got on. And when I got on, this was before transitioning. So
Mhm.
I got on You Now before transitioning, but I always just had my hair up in a hat, and I told people I was a boy. So it's crazy because I kind of transitioned on You Now. So I
Wow.
started kind of catfishing, you could say, and I was putting my hair up and putting on like some darkness on my stash, and I was calling myself Max. And
Max?
yeah,
I didn't know
and
that.
yeah, and so I was just like, my name's Max, and I had probably like three viewers every day, like at this point. But then when I transitioned and I really started singing, and people just they loved me, and it was cool because I always said like, "Oh, I'm trans," because of course, like when I figured it out, it was just exciting for me to put a label on something because I've been confused my whole fucking life, and
Yeah.
so I was just like, yeah, I'm trans. Like I was like this and now I'm this. And so this is who I am. And everyone just fucking loved that. And I'm grateful.
Yeah.
And so I just blew up like for being like this trans singer on You Now. Then I started dating Justin, and he definitely blew me up on Musically.
Mhm.
Um, and then after getting blown up on Musically, that's when Matt Dugan called, which was Justin's manager, and he flew me out to California, 15 years old, for the first time. I was still in school and stuff, but I was just going back and forth between Maryland and Cali. And then I think I did like yeah, I mean I just started living out here like probably like a month after going back and forth between high school and Cali. I was like, all right, just drop out and go to Cali. So I dropped out and I came out to Cali
Thoughts now, in hindsight,
on
Wow.
everything.
dropping out, moving there so young.
You know what? Every time someone asks me, I'm like, I luckily, I don't regret it. School was not for me, man.
Yeah, I
I
get that.
loved going to school. I loved my teachers and I loved learning. And I was a kind, good kid. But frankly, kids were mean to me and I didn't understand anything fast enough. And I just wasn't, like able to pass, even though I tried really freaking hard. And so I just knew that I wasn't going to pass high school. When I dropped out, I probably had like a 1.11 GTA. It's like the fucking lowest
Did you
GPA
say
you could have.
GTA?
Yeah, GPA, Grand Theft Auto. No, I meant GPA. And so
I
it was
can't
like
breathe.
bad. I just knew that if I wasn't going to drop out, I was going to redo it. And I wanted to do things with my life. And I did.
Mhm.
So,
See, you're stronger than me because I never moved to California, but I remember when I first like when I was at my prime, I guess once post magazine and tour, I came to LA for I think 2 months straight. That trip, my ex cheated on me. It was I my dad told me I was gonna regret coming for that long. I regretted it. I was the first month I went to the Instagram skating event. I hung
oh
out
my
with Matt
God.
Lewis and all these girlies. I think I saw you on that trip. I saw all these people on that trip. 2 weeks later, I was on that couch with my sunglasses on, ordering shawarma to the Airbnb every single day.
Oh
Like,
no.
not for me, not for that long.
The thing is, I never went out to LA in the Musically days ever. I was
No,
I think
yeah,
it's
you
just so
didn't.
it's so toxic. I feel like LA
my
at the time, maybe
parents.
now it's better,
My
but
parents would have
Yeah.
never let me do that. My parents are very like, I don't know, and I guess I am too though. I just like always had the plan of like not being an influencer forever. Like I always knew I was gonna go to college and do other stuff. So I guess that's kind of like I always had an alternative plan. So I guess that like especially when you're like Raegan, where like you didn't really I mean all your dreams and aspirations have always been not academic. You know, you've always wanted to
Right.
do music or do something,
Yeah,
you
I've
know,
always wanted to do
do
music and
something
stuff
in
like
like acting, which is like a realistic dream. Honestly, you don't have to be like a mega famous influencer to make a career out of like doing
right.
music or singing or anything.
yeah.
There's just different things to do. And so, yeah,
Mhm.
I think that like part of the reason we started this podcast is because we wanted to talk about and like kind of like advocate for like just the different avenues that life can take you and like how
Yeah.
Right.
fucking crazy like all the ways that like life can be so unconventional and still so like fulfilling and like you can accomplish so much.
Right. I think that is the
I
craziest thing. Like life flips you through so many like it's like crazy. Like 2 years, like things can just change completely. So it's like I never
yeah.
get too comfortable because I know life will always throw me a curveball and something else is going to be happening. Like,
Mm-hmm. And
I
what?
think that's what people fail to like realize that like stuff changes. Like, like let's just like as an example, like when was Musically? 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I
5 years
think.
ago now, yeah.
Yeah, like 5 years ago, like Raegan, you were like the biggest one of the biggest people on that app. Same with Baby Ariel and all these big names. And I feel like now it's Charlie and it's like a whole new era because
hmm
things change. And like some people, like with like my issue was I did makeup, I stuck to the makeup kind of realm of stuff. And I got too comfortable once I started blowing up and I stopped posting. 2 weeks into not posting, I died off. People fail to realize that like
Right.
it's hard to rely on it unless you have a plan and you have a backup. Cause like things could go to shit like next day. You could get canceled the next day for something you did or something you didn't do.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
do think that's the only thing that I regret is because I had so many dreams and aspirations and things that I wanted to do, and I kind of let a manager come in and puppet me, and I never did anything that I wanted to. And I feel like if I did those things, I honestly would have just had something set off for me.
And what's
But I
unfortunate
wasted a little bit of time.
What's
Yeah.
unfortunate is even the most business savvy parents. For the record, Reagan's dad is a very business savvy man. He owns a business. He's very successful. And even then, these like parents don't know this world of like influencers and
Yeah.
the business. And so you hear this manager who's acting they know so much about what they're gonna do. I'm gonna help your kid. I'm gonna do this, that, and the other. And parents just, obviously want the best for their kid, the best opportunity. And then these managers come in and just completely take advantage of people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. It's terrible. And that's another thing. I mean, I just want to fucking come on here and talk as much as I can about the things people in the industry will do, and just why people, if we want to possibly go into it, like there's things to be weary about.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't want to like say the name because this man tends to come with lawsuits from every corner, but Tana Mojo can attest to this manager. There was this one manager he was known for going, I would not be surprised if he went up to you, Raegan. He goes to every single person and he's like, listen, I'm going to get you a Netflix deal. I'm going to get you this. You're going to walk New York Fashion Week, blah, blah, blah. Promises all this. You sign a contract, does not do anything. He focuses on one person that he has a crush on. And I feel like a lot of managers are like that.
This manager told me he wouldn't do jack shit with me because something that Justin didn't want to do stuff with him. And I said, well, why is that? What does that have to do with me? And he was like, well, you get me Justin and I'll do stuff with you. And I was thinking, well, fuck you. Well, if he doesn't want to do shit with you, he doesn't want to do shit. I want to do stuff with you, but now you don't want to do stuff with me. So the deal's
Yeah.
off. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was so weird. Like he just didn't want nothing to do with me. He wanted everything to do with Justin, and Justin wanted nothing.
I remember that because that's when Justin was at his prime as well. He wanted to leech off of that. That's how this guy was. He wanted to jump on every big thing. At some point, he even had James Charles under his fucking wing. I don't know how, because James Charles is very business savvy. James Charles is very, people can say whatever he wants. Yes, he's fucked up bad, but he is business savvy. He's business smart, and he still got manipulated by this said manager. And it still blows my mind till this day.
It's crazy.
Insane.
I think I've had 5 managers total being an influencer, and all of them have done me so dirty. And it's crazy because it's like everyone knows, like people really don't talk about it enough, but everyone knows that California is just a different place because it's competitive here and everyone's looking after one thing. And so people backstab you, they're fake. They'll be friends with you for months, maybe years, acting like they're so close and sweet with you and your family and everyone. And then in an instant will drop your ass because they got everything they wanted from you. And people don't talk about that.
And if they don't, and if you don't benefit them anymore, and this is not just managers, this is friends, this is people.
Yeah, this is everyone.
This is people you consider your brother. This is people you consider your closest friend in life.
So it's like, imagine not only do like friends and people do that to you, but it's like these managers who are grown ass adults who act like they really do know the best for you and want to better you off will just do like, act like you're so important to them. You're their number one client and all this stuff. And they just think they see so much talent in you. And then it's like, nah, psych, actually didn't bring nothing from me. And I found this new kid and he's way cuter and way hotter and sings way better.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, okay.
I feel that's very common, both managers, friends, influencers, whatever the case may be. If you don't serve as any use for them or any purpose, they're on to the next and they'll keep doing that until they kind of run out of ideas or run out of friends to jump to. Like I think it's very common on social media, which is why like I remember when I was younger, I'd always like cry. My mental health was shit because I'd have all these friends, they would use me or we would stop being friends or whatever the case may be. And my mom never understood. She always blamed social media and like she had every right to, but like I know how we were saying before, like, good things came from social media and I agree. Like I wouldn't have met you guys, but like I've had traumatic things done to me that I don't think would have happened to me if I wasn't on social media because they
Right.
all kind
Yeah.
of had to do with a social media person or someone with a platform.
It's
And
sad
like they got
because
away with it.
if you're not somebody who's willing to throw people under the bus for your own gain, and if you're not willing to cut somebody off if they could negatively impact, like let's say you have someone very close to, let's say here's a good example. Let's say your friend is wrongly accused of doing something like either like I don't want to say sexual assault, but honestly anything. It could be like even like a physical fight or like they're just accused and it's not true and they're canceled over it, right? And you know for a fact they did not do this. If you're not willing to cut that person off anyways because of their social like online standing, um because they would negatively impact
You're
your
gonna go down with
image,
them.
you're going to go down with them. And that's why if you're the type of person that is kind of very like if you were not like are not willing to cut anybody off at any time, you just really won't make it unless you're extremely lucky. Unless you're extremely lucky and nobody around you negatively impacts you and you're not connected to anybody really, like you will, yeah. And you're still
I do believe that's a huge reason as to why I'm not big, because
I
I've known
absolutely
a
believe that about
lot.
you.
I
That's
know a lot of people, and I've lived with a lot of people, and I lived in the Team 10 house for like a week, and like just things like where people always ask me to like, oh well, you could have just like gotten so many views, and you could have made so many numbers if you just did this, if you just asked this person to do this with you,
Yeah.
and it's like I just was living in the moment. I don't look at everyone
You
as
wanna know what's
I need
crazy?
something from them.
I
Mhm.
need to say this because I think I've said this with Calvin before. So I feel like Raegan, you had your little niche. You were exposed to a lot of social media people from like Mads Lewis, that whole group, Baby Ariel, that was your time. With me, and I think it was you, Calvin, or he who shall not be named that discussed this. But people like if I wanted to right now, I could have been the biggest fucking person ever simply because of who I was friends with. I was friends with all the biggest people on Musically, on TikTok, even
Yeah.
now. Freaking, I have the biggest rappers in my phone right now. Like, but the thing is, like, people always
She's
ask me, like,
not
how aren't you
capping
big then?
either. I feel
I'm
like
not
people will
capping.
say cap. You guys don't even people don't even realize the way that like even if you're not like so well known, like someone who's like everybody knows Bryce Hall now, like someone who's
Yeah,
like you make connections even if you're not super known. You
as
you
big,
you
exactly.
make these connections and you meet so many people. And so yes, I'm like I mean Cherliz like dated this fucking like insanely fucking famous rapper. And so it's just like there's like so much. It's just like a lot.
And like the
Yeah.
thing is, like, if I really wanted to, I could have been the most famous person ever. Whereas me, I didn't want that. As Raegan said, I was living in the moment. Whenever TMZ or any of these people were coming up to me and the person or the people I was with, you'd always see me hiding. There's
You're
Dom
not
from
thinking
David.
business savvy. You're just thinking
Exactly.
like,
I'm like living in the moment. I don't want to be seen on camera like this. I don't want this to be on the internet forever. Or like,
right.
for example, I went to this dinner with like some of the biggest people on YouTube and rappers, and Dirty Dom was there from David Dobrik's vlogs, and he kept freaking Snapchatting and taking Instagram videos. And the whole time I'm like this.
Yeah,
Like
like
you could see
David
me in the
Dobrik,
video.
he's one of the biggest people I give an example of because um Nick Antonian, who is in that squad with David Dobrik, was one of me and Kristen and Nathan's best friends.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
did vlogs with Jay James. We all came together at Jay James's place like once a week, and we all did vlogs
Wow.
together, and they went viral. They were like really big, and we stopped those. But it's funny. Nick, he was just such an amazing actor, and he was so funny, such a comedian, and
Yeah.
he met David, and he just throws in his comedy. He knows, he acts. He just does it, and David picked him up, and Kristen and Nathan and we all had the chance to be like, oh, us too, David. You know what I mean? Because our friend was so easily swept by him because of his talent. Because he's just
Yeah.
talented. But everyone asked me like, oh, well, Raegan, you could have just been wild. And me and Nathan were so wild. Everyone's like, you could have just been funny and wild in front of David's face. He would have put you on the vlog. me and Nathan are like, "Why we didn't think about
Like, you're
that.
just, like, living in the
We're
moment,
just
that's what I
living in
mean,
the
like
moment. We're just watching." But everyone's
exactly.
like, "Why weren't you in that vlog? Why weren't you in these vlogs? If you're always around David, you should have been in his vlogs." It's like I think I was in one vlog in like the background. All my supporters spotted it out. Like that's Raegan in the background. But it's like, yeah, I never took that type of advantage because
Yeah.
I just didn't think about that at
Another
all.
really weird thing is the way people are so. I might be to the fact that like you're either winning or losing. You're not winning and
Yeah.
but winning it's like a zero sum game. And so like people will like, okay, for example, if I had a friend who wanted to like be start making YouTube videos, I'd be like, yeah, come get it. I'll shout you out. Come be in my video because it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt me to shout my friend out, right?
Yeah.
Um, like but there's a lot of people out there who will not, they do like, even if you're best friends, they do not want to share any clout. And it's not
Yeah, they
that you
didn't.
should,
Yup.
Yeah.
it's people who will be very like, I don't know. It's just really weird. They'll, it's,
That that's crazy that you say that because when I was like big out here in California and I like signed with Matt and stuff, Matt told me I was really good friends with Hunter, which was Piper Raquel's brother, um, and Nathan. We were all such really close friends, and I would always shout them out. And
Yeah.
Matt told me that he was going to unsign me and send me back to Maryland if I kept doing it. And I just kept asking
what?
like, oh, well, it's just they do it for me. And he said, well, they don't have the same followers. And I just was like, well, we're all gonna do a vlog together. We're gonna grow each other. And he was like, no, you're just growing them. You know what I mean? And I just was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like they're my bestest friends. Like I just can't like not post them that. I just like I didn't understand. And he was like, no, yeah, you're gonna stop or you're unsigned, you're going back to Maryland, all this stuff. And of course, like given this whole situation and talk and stuff, I told him F you. I was like, you can unsign me. You can't send me
Yeah.
back to Maryland. I'll live with Kristen, whatever, and I won't be your problem. And he just was like, whatever, it's fine. But
I feel
yeah,
like that
he was really
it
strict about
happens
that.
with I feel like it happens with both not only the content, like I feel like a lot of people that start small businesses or anything like that, like some friends will be kind enough to promote it and some won't.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know Calvin, if I want anything promoted, he fucking got my back. Whereas there's people that like I used to be 10 times bigger than them and I ask them for a favor and they leave me unopened. I'm like, damn, I've done so much shit for you. And
Right.
like now it's weird because so like I forgot to mention this. Like, I don't really do like the influencers side of it. I work for Sweetie High, which is like a really big media company that kind of covers like influencers, actors, actresses, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. I've had so many people email and text me asking me to like soft launch their songs and like all these stuff. And I'm just like, when I asked you for a favor 2 years ago, you left me unopened.
Yeah. It's
It's so
definitely,
weird.
and it definitely makes you, because, I could maybe, I'm not, it's like you're not entitled to it, but you start to question, like, what is the friendship really about?
Yeah.
Like, why are, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I think that's the bottom line is that the friendships that you form with people who are social media influencers are typically, on average, not genuine friendships, and they could really just fall apart, like,
Yeah.
over something so arbitrary. And it's and when you're somebody that becomes friends with people because you genuinely care about them and you genuinely want them in your life, regardless of any outside factors, to have somebody that is so quick to drop you over something which seems insignificant in the grand scheme of things, it's very hurtful. And it's like honestly the worst part of all of it, I think, is like the interpersonal relationships, especially if you're living in LA, like you, like Reagan, where like everyone you're surrounded by is like that kind of person.
Right.
Except for the exception of a very few people.
I mean, like and I've told you this, like all of my relationships and a lot of supporters ask, and I'm always honest, so it's like whatever. But I always say like, no, like I rarely talk to Kristen anymore. Once in a blue moon, or when she has a party, she'll invite me. I rarely talk to Nathan, and it's not because these people are bad people, but it's like they're doing social media. Now that I'm out of social media, I'm not very relevant to them. I feel like
Right.
they definitely don't talk to me as much. They definitely don't hit me up as much. Um, Nothing against them. They're great people. I do believe that,
Yeah.
but it's the vibe. And Hunter, just speaking of Hunter, who like I was really good friends with, that's like the biggest like social media story I tell people when it comes to like people out here, because he went psycho. Like he just said that he like if anybody doesn't know the story, me and Hunter were really close friends. One day he said that he was possessed by the same devil that possessed Christian Oliveras. Was that his name?
Oh my God, Christian Oliveras.
What?
Was that his name?
Wow.
The guy that wore
Yes,
the
oh
towel
my
like
God.
this and
Yeah,
stuff.
just to give Calvin like a little rundown.
Yeah, I
He
know.
was this kid that was known for the funny Instagram videos. He got possessed, but now he's like an Arabic content creator. He only makes Muslim content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like crazy, Calvin. And like,
Can you send
first
me his
off, like,
page?
I don't know if I should like
Yeah.
say these things, but I just know these crazy ass things because, like, also, like, the only time I really talked to Christian and like he came, like, he was at this party and Matt Dugan was like there with us. And like, sorry, Matt Dugan, hate to put this out there on you, hate to put this out there on Christian, but they were like sitting on each other, making out, and it was super weird. My manager and this guy just was like, what the hell?
There's no way. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh, you know what else I
And-
want to talk about is the exploitation of children as well. Danielle,
I know we'll get
Cohen.
in. We'll get into that because I have everything about Tiffany and Piper that I could
Yeah.
fucking talk about. But as I was saying, Hunter, I was fucking good friends with them. All of a sudden, he became possessed. He said it was the same devil that possessed Christian Oliveras. And I just remember being like, "Oh my god, okay, this kid's on drugs, probably, right?" Like that's what I was thinking. So I ended up calling his parents. Like he was a close friend of mine. Like I called his parents and I told them, "Hey, Hunter's out here. Nobody can find him. The police are out searching for him. He does call me occasionally. He says he's possessed, all this weird stuff. I can't get in touch with him." Finally, they found him underneath like Santa Monica Boulevard, like the pier. Like, and then they sent him home. And he like went home, went to the hospital, the mental hospital, all this stuff, never talked to me through it all. Came back out to California. I saw him. He was with Tiffany and Piper, and I saw them at City Walk. I said, "Hunter, oh my God." You know, like I haven't seen him since all this stuff happened. He like flew back home, went to the mental hospital. And he looks at me and he goes, "Who are you?" Like, so for real. And I just was
What?
like, "What's up? I just missed you. You know, we haven't talked. It's just been a really long time." And he's like, "I don't know who you are." Like, super upset, stepping back from me. I'm just like, okay. And I look over and I see like Tiffany and like Piper, like, and Tiffany's looking at me like so angry. Like, I'm just thinking, like, what the fuck did I do? I fucking saved your ass. You said you were fucking possessed. I bought you a plane ticket back home, flew your ass back home to your parents, and now you're out here saying you don't know who I am. And we were like this, guys, like best fucking friends.
You could tell who's kind of more genuine and who's not by whether or not they have hometown friends. I
Yeah.
feel like that's an indicator. If you have hometown friends that you stay close with who are just completely irrelevant to social media whatsoever, it's kind of usually an indicator that an MP. I mean, this is Raegan will know what I'm talking about here, but the way that that person that you like, I mean, I don't want to say like everything, but the way that this influencer had brought her hometown friend out to live in LA, and then the way she was treated is
Right.
just.
Yeah.
And in fact, Reagan's the one that really ended up like being there for this other influencer's hometown friend.
And I just talked to this hometown friend recently.
I fucking love her. I love her so much.
I still try to, you know, like I catched up with her and stuff. So
Yes.
but yeah, it's just definitely wild. Like there's a lot of people out here in Cali that is just like, what? Like we were so close. Like I would die for you right now still. Because I
Yeah.
just feel like we had something. And it's like you look at me like I'm nothing to you. And it's like it's not even like you're in a relationship. These aren't exes we're talking about. These are friends.
Yeah.
That like so it's like nothing even happened. It's just like they're just different.
In the words of what I said to a certain person that is no longer in my life, let me read what I wrote. I feel like
Is it our life or just your life?
It's our life. Fame and money are temporary. Your relationship with those close to you can be forever. And
Yeah.
so I think a lot of people kind of don't think about that in the moment.
100%. I think
Deep
it's just
stuff,
like,
guys. Deep.
I know. And like look, like I don't want to get into it. And I don't want
Mhm.
to talk too much about it, but like I have told you, like people come on my live and they ask me, they're like, "Oh, are you still friends with Cal?" You know, and oh, like everyone talks about the opinions and stuff like that, and it's whatever. But what I've always said and what I've always told people, and I will forever stand by it because I do love you as a person, Kalvin. I
Yeah.
say I knew Kalvin before all this shit. I don't know no political nothing, and I don't know no fame. I knew Kalvin when it was like little trans buddies. Yeah, it's like
Exactly.
we didn't know nothing but love and confidence and wanting to be there for each other. And so us being here and talking right now, it just shows that it's like that's why we're still friends.
I
And even
think
if
it's
we go through shit,
important.
it's like
I think it's
Mhm.
important also to like realize, or I guess to like acknowledge that like people can have different opinions, about certain things, even if like they're true, they're not true, whatever it may be. There's obviously like some things that cross the line, but we're all friends. Some of us may have different opinions on some things, regardless if it's like about a music artist or something like that.
we
Like
all have
it's
different
it,
opinions.
it's healthy. It's healthy to have. You're not going to be a fucking carbon copy of your friend.
The
Like
worst
Right.
part is when you have a friend though who has the same opinions as you behind closed doors, and they
yeah,
they
Right.
will cut you off and have a fake opinion publicly on something.
Facts.
exactly.
And
That's
that's
the
why
most fucking annoying.
that's why I'm saying what I'm fucking saying because it's like, look, like I don't know why everyone's so fucking hyped up and worried about something that it's like negative. It's like just focus on the fact that it's like you can tell who the real people are because the people that I talk to are the real people,
But you know
and the
what?
people that I obviously don't aren't. Like,
Something that I'll give a benefit because I've been very negative about being on social media. Being canceled, there's one very positive thing I feel like has actually been a thing in my life that I actually have really changed in this regard. I am very much the type now. I used to be very judgmental of people, like right off the bat. Like if I knew something, I would immediately like just have a certain opinion of them. But I feel like very much now, I'm very much the type where I'm like, you know what, like people, and this is, I mean, there's like a lot. This even translates into like professional life and career goals and stuff. But people can change, and I also just believe in like the inherent goodness of most people. Most people want to reconcile when they do harmful things, and most people want to make positive contributions to like the world. I feel like most
Right.
people do. And so I try to give everybody that I meet the benefit of the doubt and give them a clean slate and give them the opportunity to grow as a person always. So that is
me
one
too,
Yes.
yeah, I
that's
definitely agree with that.
I
yeah.
think everyone grows, especially like you guys. We were all three of us. We were on social media at such a young age. We didn't even have our
Mhm.
own like the brain lobes in our brain just was not even formulated yet. Like I'm a psych major. I should know the real words for that.
Period.
But we weren't. We weren't like fully like developed. Like we were children, and people sometimes hold things we said when we were 12 against us. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm 20 now. I was 14 when you used to watch me on like Instagram or Musically or whatever it is, like shit changes. Like there's so many influencers I know that kind of like stop doing social media and they're living like a normal freaking life, like with a hometown girlfriend. They're going to college or even not going to college. Like they're just like living regular lives. And like some of them can't even do that because like stuff are being held against them from when they were like 12. Like, oh, when you were 12, you cheated on this
Right.
girl. Where it's like, okay, obviously I don't condone cheating. I've been cheated on in every relationship. I just wanna
We
say
don't
that.
condone
Like, wait a minute.
I
cheating.
don't condone it, but like people, people hold like I think if a 12-year-old influencer cheat on his girlfriend, they'll hold that against him until he's 25. Like
Right.
they'll email their job, hey, by the way, like he's a cheater.
Right.
And
And it's
half
like
the
it's about
time,
your
the
whole life done.
story with these children, half the time, the story is one portrayed in a very one-sided way. Not
Yes.
it's misrepresented. Not just cheating, but with everything. And often people kind of forget the mindset of a 12-year-old, and a 12-year-old's capability to have a meaningful romantic relationship is their
Right.
capability is 0 to none. I mean, like, let's just be real. A 12-year-old boy, like, no. And then on top of that, the pressure that the social media world puts on boys to be like
To
hot
talk and
and
to,
have female
Yeah.
fans and like be very
yeah.
much. And so of course these boys will do things that make them to be more of like a fuck boy. It's actually a part of the
Yeah.
culture. So it's funny that
Right.
they then get canceled for doing what they're literally being encouraged behind the scenes to do.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
can I kind of give an example, like kind of on topic but off topic? So like
Mhm.
I did social media, obviously. I spoke to a lot of people on social media, like that's just a thing. I don't think I had a super bad experience with anyone except for one. Kalvin, you know about this. I'm suing him right now. But
Yes,
um
Cherliz's fifth lawsuit.
but I remember like one thing that stuck with me. So I remember, whoa, this happened, Raegan, when you were with us actually. This whole thing went down. So I went with me and two other people at Jackson Creoc's house. I used to talk. It was literally like a 2 week talking stage. I was talking to Diego Matir, who's like, I don't think he's an influencer anymore. I don't know what he does. But at the
My
time, he
goodness.
was, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know what he does.
that's the super cute, hot, sings better than me that came in and swooped my manager from me.
Yeah. Oh my God, stop. I forgot about that. Yeah. So like Diego Matir, yeah, me and him talked. I met him at this like event and like he one lied to me about his age, but like it wasn't like I think I was like 16 and he was like 15. That's not like a big thing. But we talked and he was from Jersey and I guess he was having a show in like this in Queens, New York, like the day I was working and I told him I couldn't come because I was working. And he went on a whole rampage about it. And I went to Jackson Creoc's house with Raegan and a few other people. And he was posting tweets, going live on TikTok, on Musically, going live on Instagram, saying I cheated on him, even though we weren't dating. And he said it because he thought I was fucking Jackson.
He's gay.
Yeah, and yeah, and I said that, and he made what's it called? Diego made a lot of homophobic and transphobic comments, which me and the person that shall be not be named literally attacked him on social media for, as we should. But then he ended up. This is very common on social media. He made fake DMs of me, like messaging a fan of his.
That was such a big thing back in the day. It was
Yeah,
making
that was
fake
nothing
DMs
was
and
real.
sending them all around.
Yeah. So he made DMs of me talking to one of his fans saying that I'm using him for clout. Keep in mind, the caps lock was on, laughing emojis was being used. I don't have caps lock. I don't use those emojis. It was obviously very fake. And then his fan messaged me and admitted to making them for him.
Girls don't use
But,
caps lock.
I don't use it. But that's just like an example of like how weird social media relationships are. Because we weren't even in a relationship. He was saying I cheated on him. I was getting the most hate I've ever gotten in my life. And like all because I was hanging out with an influencer who is literally not even straight. But like he made all these fake DMs and it was like a big thing. And like my favorite part was he had like a tour stop and someone made a sign. He crossed it out on his Snapchat. I think I have it. He said, I know my name's not Cher, but let me be like your bae or something. And he crossed out my name on Snapchat.
Oh God.
But yeah, social media relationships.
Social media relationships.
Yeah, I've had a lot of social media relationships. The biggest being Justin's, and that was just upsetting because as much as I love Justin to this day, friend wise, geez, before people start freaking out,
Tyler edits are coming.
No, it's like people still think that there's like something or like that it's like gonna happen, and it's like sucks because when me and Justin first did end or whatever, there was like a whole hashtag like cut for Jagan.
No.
Which is like really fucked, and it fucked with me, dude.
I can definitely attest to that because I do remember we would walk. Me and Raegan would spend a lot of nights, like all night. We'd be up all night, us with our ADHD brains. We'd be making snow cones and walking around the woods at night and walking around town all night. And I just remember so many conversations about like your relationship with Justin and how scared you were of like the public reaction if you guys broke up or if something went wrong. And I just feel like that by itself is so unhealthy for a relationship.
Yeah, that's a lot.
How can you ever have a healthy relationship if there's that much of a fucking like
opinion on your relationship? When it's like everyone knows, even if like if you're dating somebody and your parents got an opinion, it fucks it up.
Yeah,
it's like you need to just be with your. I think that's why I'm so happy that me and Lila's relationship is off of the internet.
Yeah,
because honestly, I remember dating girls after Justin and all these fucking girls threatening to kill them. And I'm like, next thing you know, I got to protect the girl I'm with because I got fucking people threatening them. Like when I was dating, my fucking ex, she was getting fucking tons of threats every day. Yeah. And not only that, was just getting pages made about her. So now she has all these public pages on Instagram made about her, making fun of her and let's say her weight and her race and all this different stuff. And it was just nasty, vulgar things that just like are out on the internet that you can't do nothing about.
Absolutely.
It's because like I feel like there obviously are good supporters. Everyone has good supporters. I don't know if you guys have seen it or like saw some of like the TikTok, the Hype House Netflix show, or just keep up
Yeah,
with
I
Vinny
have seen
Hacker.
Netflix Hype
So
House.
good, yeah.
I feel
So
bad for
or
Vinny
like
Hacker. He's a perfect
no, yeah.
example
So
of this.
exactly, yeah. So he always like he could literally be seen in the same restaurant as a girl he's not even with. That they will track down that fucking girl and end her life. And he
Right.
like some people will just stay silent. He doesn't. He gets so mad. And like in the show, he's like, if you fucking send hate to a girl I'm with, you're not a fan. Like fuck off. Like he straight up
Right.
said that. Like I feel like people just feel like they're so inclined to know things or like for example,
Leela
like
did get food thrown at her at VidCon when I first started hanging out with Leela, and I was like holding hands with her and stuff. And this was funny because this was like in the middle of me and my ex because we weren't together, but then we got back together and all this stuff. But I was holding hands with Leela at VidCon, and people were throwing food at her and calling her a bitch and shit. And she was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, my supporters. Like, it was just so dumb. Like I didn't even know what to say. I was like, these random girls are after you because I'm big on social media. Like, what do you even
wow.
say?
I feel like especially for those social media boys or even girls that like try to date off of social media, like a non-influencer, even someone who's just not big on it. Like I feel like I would be scared like to go on a date with like love you Bryce Hall would never do it, but like if I were to go on I would be scared to go on a date with like Bryce Hall because like I'd be shitted on. I feel like Layla was
Right.
probably so scared. Like I would be scared like because you're not used to that.
When I meet girls and stuff, it's actually like the scary thing is I don't ever tell them that I have a social media following or anything. It's very much like I'm always scared that they will be very turned off by that.
Yeah.
I feel like
Not
back
everyone's
then
in the spotlight.
it might have been a turn off back then, but I feel like now everyone wants to be an influencer. I have locals who are trying to be influencers, whereas I got bullied for it the 1 month I went to regular high school. Like now everyone's trying to do it, but back then we were all bullied as fuck. Like we were like everyone was talking shit about me, and now everyone's trying to be a TikToker. Like
Yeah.
It's like honestly, like it's funny because it's like I like that we held it up. Whatever. Yeah, because y'all know. Y'all know we were the first, and y'all know you shitted on us. And now y'all want to look good up in there, up in the TikTok.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like we've all changed over the years. We've all kind of turned into our own people. We've done things that we regret, done things we're so happy we did, and like we're all just so different people now.
Definitely.
I don't know. And
I
just
feel like we haven't even really gotten to the depths of social media, like just things that we've been through and how we have gotten fucked over. And even like I've talked to my supporters about the drug path of being in social media and being a young influencer and drugs and alcohol. I mean,
I feel
it
we
is
could
insane.
definitely we could cover that in another episode because I know so much, especially if like you're one of those kids that came from television, like that turned into like that shit. Like you go down that path and it sucks. Yeah.
This is a good
It's
first
insane.
episode.
I know. We kind of like popped off. Oh my God. I'm kind of happy
it
with
took us
it.
like a year to do this, y'all.
Stop. Yeah. By the way, we've been trying to plan this episode for like the last 2 freaking months. It either doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for Raegan, doesn't work for Kalvin. Kalvin went through some traumatic experiences midway of trying to plan it. So we're finally here.
Yeah, I've been kind of down in the dumps, but I'm pretty. I actually had a really awesome day in the past like day and a half, so I'm feeling good today.
I've been down in the dumps, but I brought myself up to do this podcast today.
Fuck yeah!
Let's talk about like what is to come from this podcast. I feel like we're all like a very weird mix of people.
Yeah,
like we have Kalvin, and then we have Raegan. This like
probably
user.
wondering what's up. They're like, so why?
This is like a weird mixture of people. So I guess like, what do you guys think? Like, what is to come from Calm After the Storm?
I think like we just really wanted to get ourselves together to express that we're moving on to different chapters in our life, and we just want to update everyone. I think people are curious and they want to know like what happened to y'all, you know. And I think this is good to just let everyone know what's really going on with us. So
I don't want to add to that. So that's for people who know who we are. But like I want to also add some stuff for people who maybe find the. I mean, I'm sure that like there's an element of like, I mean, the three of us have been friends for so long, and so it's the chemistry. Years. The chemistry is, I feel like, very good between all of us. I know, at least for me, like I have like just such a close, really different, but so close with both of you, especially for so long. And so, I don't know, for anyone who's new, I mean, we just want to talk about like, I don't know, I guess if you're like in your 20s and stuff, we're in our early 20s. I'm 21. Cherliz, you're 20, right? And then Raegan, you're 22.
22.
So, we want to talk about just I know it's like such a weird age, I feel like, being in your early 20s. Because on one
Right.
hand, you're an adult and you have to adult and you have to do all these things and, try to figure out what the fuck you're going to do with your life. But at the same time, you're still kind of a kid and you're still kind of like
Recovering from 18 still. feels
recovering.
like.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a weird age. And I don't know. I guess I want to talk about just like a mix of things that are like, this, we're adulting and like, we're doing this in
Yeah,
college
things we're
and
doing now and stuff
work
too. Yeah,
and
like you guys are doing your college and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm getting into my dog training, just like life and
Yeah.
stuff.
but mix that
And then
together with like our fucking like we love to talk about social media drama, we love to talk about all of this stuff, so it's kind of just a hodgepodge of just
Yeah.
us talking about life and our experiences as teenagers and as fucking people who've
Yeah.
lived I feel like very odd lives. I mean, I'm trans, Raegan is trans, sure Liz
I'm not.
is not, but
Everyone thinks I am.
She's
I'm not. I'm not.
LGBT. She's
BT.
LGBT. And we're this is an LGBT run podcast. Our art's made by an independent Pakistani artist.
Whatever. Everyone's gonna be like, oh,
Yes.
so now Calvin's
boss.
trans. He's not cis anymore.
We're very much, we're very involved in a lot of that. So we have an interesting perspective, I feel like, just
And
on
then, yeah. I think it's also important, like, yes, we're going to cover like the normal human mid-20s, 20s, drama, lifestyle things. But we are also like people that came not from like a normal childhood. Like, we were all on
Yeah.
social media. Like, I have like the religious aspect of it. They have like the trans aspect. Like, we're all from like such different, diverse backgrounds. I'm Middle Eastern. But anyway,
me and Raegan are from fucking the suburbs of Howard County, Maryland. And
Maryland.
like, we're
but
not.
like, no, but yeah, like, I think we're all like diverse. We all have different opinions, different stories. I definitely want to like dive into like the social media stuff on it. Get Danielle Cohn on an episode, like kind of talk about. Girl, let me just call her
I
after
love
this. One
Danielle.
sec.
I
What?
love Danielle, and she knows
I
me,
love
and she
her.
knows she can
I
talk
love
to me.
her.
The thing about Danielle is like what I really do love about Danielle Cohen is the fact that people really do look at her like she's trying to be someone so mature and crazy. But when you
But
meet this
she's
girl,
such a
she is
sweetie.
a
She's so
fun
nice.
sweetheart. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
she's so sweet and nice,
I
and
love
definitely
her.
definitely acts like a young in here too sometimes.
Yeah.
She was at this rave that me and Leela went to recently,
Oh my
and
God.
she came up to me and Leela. We don't really talk to her like that, but she came up to us. She knows us, and she was like, "Hey guys, so like I was just left up here at this rave. I have no service. Like I don't know where none of my friends went. I probably have to call my mom, but I can't call an Uber or anything. Like, what do I do?" Me and Leela are like, "Girl, hop in the car. Like, we'll take you down the
Yeah.
hill." We literally we just got to this rave. We take her in the car, we turn all the way back down, go down this long hill, drop her off, make sure she gets their Uber, and then went all the way back up the top. And I'm just thinking, like, who left this girl? Like, what the
She is
hell?
like
Jennifer
she is a genuine
Archambault.
soul.
Jennifer
She is
Archambault.
like the thing is like she is such a genuine soul, and like I feel like she has like underwent so much trauma, definitely
Oh,
more than I have. Like
Definitely being in social media, she'd be someone so interesting to talk to really get her opinion on like
yeah, and she's still involved. I'll
everything
text
she
her after
went
this,
through.
but like yeah, I want to have guests on here. I want to have business people, influencer people. I want to have
Give us
like
topic
I just
suggestions. Give us guest
topics, yeah, 'cause
suggestions.
I
Yeah,
want to
give us
just like I
guest
feel like it'd be so fun, like just to kind of dive into not just social media, but just like kind of everything. Like I know we wanted to do an episode like the real life or like the truth to like college life, which like Raegan could like probably like participate in the conversation.
Yeah.
But, like about that, like hookup culture, dating on social media, like all this stuff. As Raegan said, like the drugs and all this stuff, all the realms and paths people go on, like from social media. Like there's so much to talk about, and like I'm so excited.
Me
I
too.
know.
scared.
But yeah,
Like-
we're excited. We've been wanting to do this for a while now. We finally got it together. We're excited to get you guys' feedback on this episode. Hopefully, all of our audio and video
Oh my god!
technical.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Stop.
We're
I'm so scared.
we actually we should got a mic and we got everybody set up here. So hope maybe
Y'all's mics look cool. How much did those cost?
$60, not bad.
Really?
No, it was not $60. It was 100.
Mine was 69. Mine was 69. It was on
Okay,
sale
this
on
was like
Amazon.
$40. Got it. It was like the cheapest thing at Best Buy, so I grabbed it up quick.
Don't worry, Raegan. Me
Me
and
and-
Calvin are gonna surprise you with one of these one day.
Yes.
These are Samsung G-Track Pro.
T-Track Pro.
I'm really into microphones, everyone. I'm gonna do the audio engineering here.
Calvin's trying to teach
So-
me to do a little bit of music stuff too, so he's gonna have to help me out with my mic situation if it ain't good enough.
Oh, that mic is fine, probably for the time being.
Oh, well, good. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Overall, I'm
alright.
excited. I'm excited for everyone to see this episode. I'm excited for everything that is to come, and I'm just so excited. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, same.
Fuck yeah.
When are we posting? Are we posting every Friday? Like, what's
yeah, once a week, hopefully.
Let's
All
out
right,
it out,
guys.
then.
Let's add it out. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you for
This is like a
watching.
little.
Yes, if you
I'm so
enjoyed,
excited.
leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. You guys want to do like a comment of the day, like every time? We could
Could
do
we
like
do
a
that? Wait.
question of the day.
Question
So,
of
Okay,
the
let's
day.
do that.
who
Should
is
be a good
your
question.
favorite influencer? That's question of the day.
People are gonna have fun with this one.
We're gonna block out like one name. If, like this person's name will be
Think
blocked
mine.
out.
I didn't have
My favorite influencer is I don't know.
Who's
I
my
have to say,
favorite?
my favorite influencer is Mason Ramsey right now.
Oh my god.
I really
Aw.
love Mason Ramsey.
Mine is probably if you want like a real like an influencer. I mean, I watch like educational content. Like I mean, my favorite influencer.
Okay, Grandpa.
But old man. But like I would maybe who's someone that never Trisha Paytas. She never ceases to entertain.
I
So-
hate Trisha Paytas.
or Gabby Hanna. Two people who just never cease to
I
entertain.
hate Gabby Hanna. Well,
I
actually,
don't- I don't
I
like
really used to
them.
love her,
They're
but now
enter-
she's like crazy, and I'm like, what?
No,
is
I
wrong
feel
with
like
this
no
girl?
one likes them. They just deliver content
They're
that no one
entertaining.
delivers.
I mean, it's a
I'm really
different
into
level.
Trisha Paytas' content when like she's being a genuine person. Like when she does all this stupid trans things, it actually does piss me off.
yeah.
H3H3
me
might be
off.
one of my favorites.
Because like she's so big and everyone like believes her, and everyone's
Yeah.
like, no, she just has a disability, and I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
She's
Like,
trans. They're trans.
I'm just like, what the hell? No, honestly though, who was I gonna fucking say?
I
lost
have
it.
someone. I love Emily Grayson. She's like a lesbian Jewish TikToker.
Oh,
You guys have definitely seen her. She is the funniest person to ever exist. I'm interviewing her on Sweetie High this week, and I'm so excited. So
I do
excited.
like that Alex Warren kid or whatever and his girlfriend. They're cute.
They're cute. They're like they're wholesome. They're
I don't know a
wholesome.
lot about them, but I just been watching them recently. They're cute.
Yeah. All right. I think we all gave our little our
All right,
2
guys,
cents.
I'm getting out of here. I got 10 animals to take care of.
Thank you guys for watching again. For a new
Thank
question
you.
of
We
the
love
week all the
you.
time, whatever. We love you so much. And
How do you do
yeah,
the-
thank you guys. Oh, okay, Raegan.
You weren't on Tumblr, clearly.
No, I was trying to do the.
There you go. You did it. Oh.
Oh wait, how do you do that? Wait.
Yeah,
how-
You take this,
Wait,
then
so it's
you-
like
keep the two connected, and flip it.
Bro.
yeah, my sorority sign is this.
Ugh.
Literally, like doing up here like games.
Leave your sorority. That's it. We're done. We're done
To
with
be
that.
continued. All right. Bye guys. Thank
Bye,
you guys for
guys.
watching.
Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all later.
Thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye bye.